fuck?
All right, I got a couple recordings that I need to drop on YouTube, but this one is really good. So I'm gonna give y'all the lead up to how this conversation even got alive. So I book an Airbnb to sleep in, camper. I want to be a camper lifestyle, JDM car type of guy, making music. Living on the travel to travel, state to state, country to country type of dude until I settle down and get a family with, etc. All right. So I book a camper in Gainesville to go live at 3 nights, 140, cheap as shit. I get there, whole bunch of bullshit goes on. Basically, it's negative energy around positive energy. Lady comes up, she thinks I'm some type of ice in Minnesota type of dude with a drone. As I'm trying to enter the camper, she's throwing off the energy already. That shit gets handled with calmness, peace. You know me. I handle that, no issues. Then you got this lady's neighbors next to me worrying about a fucking cat. Then the guy calls me and says there's been a lot of negative, dark energy in my terms. And his terms was, hey, bro, people robbing over there, bro. I'm like, yo, why you ain't tell me that? They're not supposed to. They're trying to sell you for a camper. That's the conversation I have with myself. I'll say, okay, it's cool. So I dip, hop on a call with my mentor, and I let him know I'm leaving that place. Don't worry about me living there. We live in the same city. So we have a conversation, and my mentor, man, he's really, really, really high intellect on game of life. All variations. He may not use all variations all at once, but when it's time to engage in that category, he got it. Dudes live life, probably failed more times than you can count on your hands, but he know what's up. You know what I'm saying? He know what's up. So he was like, man, you got to get back to fucking hoes. And my energy, I'm like, I don't need to give away my seed. I need to protect it. He understands that now, right? Respectfully. However, he says, you still got to engage with him. You a man, right? He was like, you still got to, interact with him. It's by nature. So opposite. That's how I'm digesting and downloading what he's saying through my languages so that my subconscious can download it that way. Conscious can register it that way. I said, okay. I said, but I've been doing that. He's, we're having a cold conversation. And he was like, you're not doing that, bro. And me, my younger me, the old version of myself, I respectfully say, was very stubborn, and negatively curious and positively curious, but more negatively on what was going on in life. So my younger me, I did experience, having sex with women, the ugly ones, the pretty ones, all versions. I had sex with all versions of women because I knew at some point I was not going to want to engage with sex because I wanted to focus. I'm a focused type of person. I'm like a monk. And the word monk was brought up in me and his conversation. So he was like, for example, he was like, a monk, man, the dude with the orange shoe, they shaved their head. All right. A monk puts themselves in the situation that they want to master. That way, when they get in that environment, it's mastered. And I said, wow. No. When he dropped that bar, it wasn't the point of him, delivering it within that way like a artist or something or a poet. It was me understanding like that is honestly a fact. Because I did that for food. Some people do it. What's a great example? Fighters. They have to put themselves in the boxing ring. That way, when they get to the event, they can constantly win their matches. Right? They have to continue to go to the boxing ring and box against harder defenders than them, against people talking shit to them. You have to put yourself in the environment in order to master the environment. That never clicked to me when it came to women because it was such a natural environment of engagement with women. All men experience this. And I'm going to stop right there and give you the other half of our conversation. And we were speaking about how men think that, and I'm saying men because me and him are men, so it was coming from a man's perspective. And he was saying that men think that they are out of the game when they get in relationships. You're never out of the game. The game is never closed. When you're only away from the game, when you go nomad, off the grid, and you don't have no phone, you don't have no job,
You don't have no way of getting food in the system, in the city.
you decode yourself from all the indoctrinated paperwork, you're not owned.
That's when you out of the game. When you literally
Eliminate your name and you become a whole nother person where nobody can find you. That's when you out of the game, right? And me and him were saying, well, he was telling me and I was listening, and he was like, most dudes get into the relationship, they think that the game is over. They start turning soft, arguing, doing less, being less, and she starts to, do more, be more, all this and all that, pick up the slack where the dude's lacking. And that's because the dude thinks the game is over. He thinks the game is non-irrelevant. And this is how my mind is digesting all the words my mentor is telling me. He says it in, the way he says it, but he breaks it down to the point where it's very digestible, downloadable, and to the perspective and perception of how you view life. But you understand it through his and you transfer it to yours. That's how you download things, okay? Obviously. And when he's saying this stuff, he was like, yeah, like, you can say you're out of the game of women, but you're a handsome dude, respectfully. Like, they still giving you looks. You still have to engage with that due to the fact of it's the game. That don't mean you have to go put your dick in the pussy, in the sex, in the coochie, whatever. You don't have to do that if you're trying to protect your seed. Okay, that's understandable. But if you're trying to protect your seed, you're trying to get stronger from not having sex, and you're trying to get stronger around women so that you can last around women without engaging in your lower energy to lose your seed, you have to be around that. That never registered to me since I've been practicing semen retention and enjoying the benefits, because it never registered. I was super stubborn. I thought what I knew is what I knew was the greatest of all. It was like Kobe. He said in an interview, he's like, I'm stubborn, so I'm stubborn when I'm up and I'm stubborn when I'm down. And that's like my greatest and worst curse. And I got the same shit, dude. It's like my greatest and worst curse, but you can always make the greatest, and you can always manage and make the worst the worst. It's your world. You have to be okay with your world being the greatest. You have to be confident, and at some point you have to let go of the pride and the ego and kick that motherfucker to the end of the goalpost and allow him to chase you instead of you chasing it. See how that fucking feels. Switch it up a little bit. to eagerly